Hi guys, it's Maddie. I am here to walk you through the prep work for your cleanse week. There's a lot of stuff, and I really wanted to just take some time and make kind of a special video just about your prep, because the cleanse stuff can seem really overwhelming, and for some of you, just cooking a meal a couple times a week is a pretty big deal. So I wanted to really give you some undivided attention and some specific instructions about how I would go about this to be the most successful, most stress-free cleanse week you can possibly have. So you've probably seen your Power Prep checklist already. Maybe you've looked at this, maybe you haven't, but we're going to start with the Power Prep checklist. So the first thing is to reestablish your why. It's pretty simple, but you want to get really clear about why you're doing this and really clear about what you want to get from doing this, and constantly be reminding yourself of that, because there's going to be some hard points. Some days are going to be easy. Some days, though, are going to be a struggle. The second one says, I am committed to this cleanse for 7 days. And I encourage you to say that out loud. I am committed to this cleanse for 7 days. Just 7 days, you guys. That is all we're asking. Third one is, who do you need support from? Figure that out and have a conversation with them. Fourth question is, have you taken a before picture? I'm not a big fan of weighing yourself or getting too into that stuff, but if you want to, you can. But I do recommend taking a picture before you do this week and then taking one after, because I could not believe the results myself, and I really didn't expect much, but it was surprising. So I recommend that. It's not something you have to share. We'll never see it unless you're excited and want to share it with us. Clear out the crap food from your cupboards and fridge. Really recommend this. Just get rid of all the temptation stuff. Take it to work. Give it to somebody if you don't want to throw it away. But get rid of it just for this week. You don't want it to even be in your possession. Okay, and this is where we get serious. The next part is to create your meal plan. And if you do not do this, you are going to be overwhelmed. And I created a little calendar type worksheet for you. But what you want to do and how I would go about this is I would start by looking at my plans. So if I work every day from 8 to 5, I'm going to write down that I work every day from 8 to 5 on all those categories. If I have something going on after work, if I have a birthday party, if I have, what are my plans for that weekend? But I am going to encourage you to not make a lot of plans, okay? Just for this 1 week, this is really a week all about you. Really, 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 really dedicate this time to you, and you're gonna feel better about it, okay? So I would start there, and then I would look at, am I going to be able to cook that night, yes or no? And that's all you have to write, yes or no. And then it says additional prep to do. So I would start to mark which nights. So if I cannot cook on Wednesday, I am going to have to cook extra on Tuesday or Monday. Okay? I'm also going to need a second night to make my altar broth. And if you don't want to cook it all, you can literally do all of your cooking on Sunday for the next 3 to 4 days, and then do all of your cooking in another night for the rest of the week. Now, if you do have time to spend some time in the kitchen, and that's what you want to do, then plan out which nights you're going to do that. Okay, and then what you're going to make. So then we want to start looking at the other categories. What am I going to have for breakfast? And I would actually probably just go across and think of everything I want to have for breakfast. Okay, and then I'm going to look at Monday's lunch and dinner. And we have to be very careful because we have a lot of categories to cover. So I'm going to probably look through some recipes that I want to try. And I gave you a recipe guide. Use that. You're probably going to need a little bit more than that. And as you're going through recipes, okay, it doesn't have to be a perfect recipe, but you do have to know how to make it a perfect recipe for this week. Okay, obviously removing honey, sugar, anything like that, you can still use the recipe and leave that out. If it has a vegetable that we can't use, cool, just put in your cleansed vegetables. And if nothing else, if you're a routine person, you may just want to make the same thing over and over again. Maybe just 1 or 2 different recipes that you go back and forth with. Okay? Now, if you're like Nadine, that would drive you crazy and you have to eat different meals. So plan that out. You know what you are. You know what's going to work for you. And if nothing else, I gave you a reference guide for dressings and marinades. And the reason is because you can keep this really simple, okay? The meal is basically your brown rice, your cleansed vegetables. You can just make a huge stir-fry pot of them, mix them all together, add your protein, and then you can switch between different dressings or marinades, and then you have a different meal, but basically you've prepared it exactly the same with just a simple dressing to give you some different flavors each night. Okay, so try not to overcomplicate this unless you want to, unless it's going to be really fun for you to find a ton of different stuff to try. Okay, but we want to go down the list and pick out our lunch and our dinner. And as you're doing this, there are little check boxes at the bottom here. You want to mark off, did I get my crucifers? Did I get my leafy greens? Did I get my sulfur-rich foods? Did I get my liver lovers, colon caring? Did I get my citrus, my protein, my brown rice, and then my extra virgin olive oil and flax oil? Pretty simple. Okay, use those checklists. Make sure you're covering everything. You're going to be checking each day in your checklist as well, but I would just look at that. Once this is done, you're going to move over to your shopping list. Okay? Now, notice, everything in purple is what you need to make your ultra broth, 2 batches. Okay? So everything that is in purple, you need to make your ultra broth for 2 batches. Okay? Now you need to go through this list and figure out how much of everything else you need. And that's where you're going to use your meal planner. You're going to go through your meal planner and say, okay, I have broccoli on my menu 3 times. Okay, I'm going to need 1 head of broccoli. And then I would write, I need 1 head of broccoli on my list. Okay, and maybe none of my recipes have cauliflower in it. I don't need cauliflower then. But I do have Brussels sprouts the other 4 times. Okay, how many Brussels sprouts do I need to buy then? And I would go through this list, you guys, and write down next to every single thing how many you need. Okay, and again, anything in purple, I've already told you how many you need. But if you need more carrots, you need to add that number to this list. Okay? So, I've given you some guidelines on here. I've given you some optional things. Make sure you look through any recipes that you've picked out, anything in your meal plan, and add it to your shopping list. And if there is anything that you have questions about, again, just ask. And make sure you ask before you get to the grocery store. You don't want to have to make several trips. Okay? So, once you have that covered, you're ready to get started. Okay? The checklist, you guys, is a lot of what you've done. Positive affirmation, gratitude, your goals for today, sleep, and then I have the daily flow. So every morning, you're going to start with your intentions. Then you're going to do your hot lemon water. You're going to do your green tea and your ultra broth, and then breakfast. Okay? And some of you may not need breakfast, but it is going to be hard to get all of those categories in if you're not eating it. Okay? It could just be a big bowl of berries. Whatever works for you. Bowel movement by 10 a.m. If you do not do this, okay, you need to address it right away. Okay, if you are not going, we have to address it. And all I recommend are herbal laxatives. That can be the dandelion root tea that's on your shopping list, or peppermint tea works really well. Okay, we don't want to do pharmaceuticals or anything like that, but try one of those. It should get you going. Okay, then you're going to have your lunch and your ultra broth, and then you want to be marking down under that the cleanse must do's. Okay, check your cleanse must do's, get your crucifers, your leafy greens, and mark all of those down. And at the end of the day, if you're missing something, guess what? Go eat it. Okay, that's what's kind of cool about this, is you have to make sure you're eating all the categories. So yes, there's lots of things that we avoid, but there's also lots of things you must do. So you might actually get sick of eating. Sounds fun, right? So, I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Clearing the clutter, spiritual practice, everything else you've done already. So, I hope this helps. Please, please, please spend some time on this. I promise it will make this week so much easier for you. But it is going to take some time. It will take some time, including the shopping and the cooking and the planning. So it is worth it. You are worth it. And I cannot wait to see your results here in, it's about 10 days from now. But you are beautiful. Have a great day. I'm out.